Good, good.
Ready?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, so just a reminder before we start, so for GDPR compliance reasons, we're going to keep the screens and microphones of everybody closed. So if during the talk you want to comment or if you have any question for our speakers, so please use the chat or ask for permission so we can open your microphone and just do the question yourself. So thank you very much for being here. Today we have with us Nuno Escudeiro. He's a professor at the School of Engineering of the Polytechnic University of Porto. He has a PhD in Informatics Engineering and a master's degree in data analysis and decision support systems from the University of Porto as well, and a degree in electrical and computer engineering from the University of Lisbon. So Nuno is an integrated researcher at GILT, Games Interaction and Learning Technologies Research Center, where he has been working to promote equitable and globalized higher education for the past 20 years. He's also coordinating and contributed to several research and development projects and assumes leading positions in various organizations in the field of European higher education. So thank you so much for being here with us today, Nuno. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Carol, for your nice introduction, and thank you also for the invitation and the opportunity to be here. So good afternoon, dear participants. I think I will share my screen and start discussing with you a few things that we'd like to discuss today. Okay, so our aim for today is to discuss and to present some of the things that we are doing in the field of feedback and reflection with our students using generative AI, things that we are starting to explore now as almost everybody in the education field now. I will go before going directly to the tools and to some activities that we can try to do, although they will probably be more effective if we had more participants, but I think we will still manage, let's see. But before that, I would like just to introduce you very briefly to the STEAM Teacher Academy, because this is the academy, the Teacher Academy. We have a STEAM Teacher Academy in Porto, and this work is coming from this academy. So the STEAM Teachers Academy is the result of one European project funded by Erasmus under the Teacher Academy action. The Commission is very much committed to make sure that we have all the conditions for the teachers in the schools get motivated and get competent to provide higher education in general with a high level. And these initiatives under teacher academies are exactly to support the professional development and the opportunities for the teachers in the school. In particular, the STEAM Teacher Academy is addressing a specific group of teachers, those that are interested in applying STEAM techniques in their schools. We are addressing higher teachers in service, as we are addressing students that are studying to become teachers in the future. And from my institution, the Polytechnic of Porto, we have a school of education, so that's where we link into this STEAM Teacher Academy. We started this with 14 partners all over Europe, and these 14 partners then created the European Federation of STEAM Teachers Academy. This is a non-for-profit organization that started working in December last year. We have already a few national academies, one in Porto, the STEAM Teacher Academy in Porto, based in IPP. There is another one born in Algarve, in the south of the country. And we have regional academies, national academies in other regions in the Europe. But if you are interested to create your own, the process is very simple. You will get all our support. So just feel free to contact me so that we can support you in this. The presentation can be then shared new if Carol intends to do so. So I will share it where we have all the links for all these things. The Teacher Academy that has been developing a significant number of resources that are open, freely open for all those interested in this activity. I'm going very fast through them. We have designed the competence framework that specifies a set of competencies that we find are interesting for a teacher that wants to do STEAM pedagogical activities in this school, in this classroom, the competencies that you should master. And for each one of these competencies, or for a bunch of them, we have a set of modules that were prepared to promote these competencies in the teachers that might feel they lack some knowledge or some experience in those areas. What we are doing today is exactly one of these modules, the module that is focused on the facilitation of feedback and reflection of the students in the schools in settings of PBL and STEAM education. But you can see we have 14 of these modules that are freely open. You can access the documentation, you can access webinars to get into these topics and to learn a little bit more if you want. Then we have also prepared some class plans. We have more than 100 class plans that you can use in the STEAM modes in your classes. So you can just download them from the platform and explore them as you wish. The STEAM Observatory is a web page where you can find all these resources, all the information about the STEAM Academy and the products that we have developed so far and we are continuing to develop. We have also a certification process which can provide you a micro-credential on STEAM competencies. These go through a process that you have to start beforehand, preparing a plan, preparing a class, lecture a class in cooperation with other teachers. At least 2 teachers must do this because in STEAM we should have different, at least 2 different fields working together in the same assignment. And then based on this, you can apply for the certification and the federation will analyze this. These applications are sent to either to your national STEAM Academy if there is one, or to the central office of the federation, and then this will be directed to the people who will assess it and provide you the micro-credential. So we are also very welcome. One last thing that we are working on a set of policy recommendations to send out to the ministries of education in these countries to promote and to push for including STEAM education competencies in the early life of the teachers to be in the teachers in service, so that we can have our students from young ages being faced to this and exposed to this type of learning. So you can find all this information at the STEAM Academy website. Before going directly to the digital tools and to what we can do with generative artificial intelligence with these regards, let me go through a few topics that you probably are very much aware of, but it's good to make sure that we are all on the same page. One important thing is, why is student feedback important? I'm not going to be into much detail into this, because I'm sure that you all already mastered this. So I'm going only to highlight what I found as interesting key points or interesting highlights. Student feedback, or getting feedback and pushing students to give feedback and to reflect on their learning process, has significant advantages on their development, not only academic development or development as students, as learners, but also in all their future life, in all their future career, because this helps the students to develop critical thinking competencies, to be able to create ownership on their learning process. And this is a great avenue to make sure that the students are taking ownership, taking and being ineffective, active agents of their learning process. I believe might be, from my point of view, one of the most important impacts of feedback and reflection if we imprint this in the students from early ages, or even at the university level when we get them and they are not really used to this type of thing. The fact that the students feel that they are that they know that they can reflect on what they have learned, and from that point they know what is missing and what they should do to improve what is missing. And when they see the results of this on their learning assignments, this really starts making a big impact and making a big change in the way that the students see the learning process in their lives. And this is also a way, because student feedback can be either individual or in group. So this is also a good tool to create team spirit in the classroom, to make sure that the students feel comfortable in exposing their understanding, their doubts, their concerns, and creating this safe environment in the classroom, which is critical for the students' development, and to make sure that they are relaxed and feeling comfortable to give their feedback. I'm going very fast through this, so again, I would like then to focus a little bit more on the tools. But if we can summarize all these in 4 points, feedback and reflection have this powerful impact. So it is critical for the student growth, not only as a student, but also as a person, and to deepen his learning process. Because this is building this type of skills, collaboration, critical thinking, really understanding that what I know and the convictions I have might not be exactly the same as the others. And all of this is very important for interpersonal and personal development. And when the students see what they get out of this, their motivation to study and the ownership of the learning process are really taking place. And these tasks are important, and more important if you use active learning approaches like PBL and STEAM. It becomes rather important in these settings. We can identify and we can discuss a big number of benefits of feedback and reflection for the 2 key stakeholders, the teachers and the students. We have here just a few of them. If you take a look at the teacher side, a better understanding of the needs of the students, the improved learning achievements. The teacher can have really improved learning achievements from their students if they are involved from the scratch, from the beginning, in these feedback and reflection activities. Creating this classroom culture is very important for the future of the students, and to make sure that they are comfortable and that they trust and that can collaborate in a constructive way. And again, it's a way to assure the professional growth of the students, to promote their employability in the future, and to make sure that they are more keen to work in teams, to work in groups, which they might not really have this experience in the first ages or when they are in the first years of school education. If we move to the student side, we can identify some important benefits. The students get more control over the learning. They can improve the results of their work. Their performance will be improved because of this feedback and reflection. If we teach our students how to do this in a constructive way, either where they are in the classroom or when they are outside of the classroom, with the colleagues in the library or in the canteen, wherever, and at home when they are doing this reflection on their own, all of this is promoting soft skills related not only to interpersonal cooperation, but also from the personal point of view. It's a very good way to increase the motivation and the engagement of the students and to create this resiliency and the mindset that they need to have to grow and to be the owners of their learning process and their future. So all of these are impacts and good reasons to push for effective feedback and reflection in the classroom. So I guess we all agree that feedback and reflection is important in education, in the school, in any level of education. We have checked some of the benefits of this process for the students. We have checked some benefits of this process for students and for teachers. And apparently this is something that is really good. But I'm not sure about your own experience, but my experience is that sometimes it's very tough to get, very challenging to get students' feedback. We push for them, but it's not really, sometimes it's not really easy to have the students providing their feedback for many reasons. And that is one thing I would like to try with you now. So you probably have already used Menti. Menti is one tool for feedback and reflection, which is anonymous. So this is good to use when your students are not really comfortable in exposing their fears and their ideas. So I challenge you to go to this menti.com platform, and I need just to launch the query. Okay, so what I would like you to do now is go on this menti.com, input the code that you have in here, 31309129, and just type in short sentences, what do you see as the main blockers of students' feedback? What are the obstacles that are preventing students from providing feedback in the classroom? We'll go through this, but it would be good now to see what is your opinion about this, what you think can be an obstacle. This is a critical point. Students might not know how to provide feedback. Yes. Lack of time, another critical point. Yeah, we'll get into this in 1 minute. If they are shy, that is another issue. You are addressing those canonical, let's say, challenges and blockers. Scared of their own friends, of, let's say, hurting the feelings of others, being ashamed. Yes, some simply don't care. Some are bored. This is very much aligned in the same dimension, let's say. Fear of being honest because they are not confident on their own. They are, yes, giving better or worse feedback to their classmates depending if they like them or not. This is another very important aspect. Concerns about potential negative. Okay, we have very large classrooms. This is another important point, and there are solutions to work on feedback when you have large classrooms as effectively as if you had a small classroom. Okay, let's now start using already AI. I don't know if you have used Menti recently, because until a few months or 1 or 2 years ago, Mentimeter did not add this functionality, at least for the free version. I'm using the free version, not the paid one. But now you can see here that you can press space to group responses. This is already something that Menti is doing with generative AI. This was something that I used to do when I use Menti. I used to download the responses from the students and then ask ChatGPT or some other tool to group the responses so that we can see the highlights that are here. Let's try to do it. So if I press space, now what Menti is doing is to putting this into groups, and we can see here, okay, lack of skills. We have 6 responses on lack of skills. social anxiety, 5 responses. So these are the 2 most prominent dimensions from the point of view of our group about the obstacles hindering students' feedback. Apathy, so students that are not really much interested, the class size, 2 responses on this, time constraints. So we are already using generative AI for this. So thank you very much for your input. We will be sharing this with you later on. And if you see the barriers of students' feedback that you can identify in the literature and from your daily life, are most of them already mentioned by you. Lack of experience or confidence, fear of criticism, hurting others, negative consequences, feedback fatigue, misunderstanding the purpose, so not knowing why am I doing the feedback, not knowing how I can do it, feeling the feedback won't have any impact on whatever. This is a critical issue. So when we're asking students for feedback, we should then show them what the feedback is being used for. Don't ask feedback just for asking, because this will demotivate students the next time you ask for their feedback. Lack of clear instruction, this was also mentioned. It's important that the students have exactly and clear instruction, and it is important also that we teach them and explain them why the feedback is important, what we are going to do with it, what is expected, and what can be the benefit of this for the students. Lack of time, space, or opportunity for feedback and reflection. This was also mentioned by our group here just a while ago. And this is really critical again. If you have some feedback activity planned for your class at the end of the class, let's say, but you arrive in the end of the class and you were expecting to need 5 minutes, but you have only 1 or 2 minutes, don't rush. Cancel it, do it next time. Because if we are rushing, we are giving the students the sensation that this is not that important, this is not that relevant, so why bother? And then, of course, we have the cultural issues, and this is getting more and more important as we have more and more people from abroad with different cultures, either from Erasmus or from people arriving from other countries for some other reason. This was very interesting because this here I had a class in my databases course. I had an Erasmus class, so I had 15 students, 20 students, more than half of them were students coming from abroad, and they were coming from many different countries, from Italy, from Lithuania, from Vietnam, from many, many different countries. And what was really nice to see the completely different approach and behavior these students have when you ask for them for their feedback. The student from Lithuania did never speak before asking permission to talk. On the opposite side, we had an Italian student that was always very much interactive, and so these are cultural differences that we have to cope with, that you understand immediately as soon as you get your class or after 1 or 2 classes, and it's important to be able to address these different styles of communication, of providing feedback, of reflecting on their analysis. And this is also very much linked to another thing, which is the universal design for learning, which is something very linked to inclusion and equity, and that we should be aware to place in our classes. We can go through each one of these dimensions or each one of these barriers that are identified here. We have here 7 or 8 barriers. I'm not going into detail into each one of them, but then you will have the opportunity to take a look, if you like, in the PowerPoint. You have on the left side in red why this is happening, what are the reasons why the lack of experience or confidence arise, or why is this a blocking factor for feedback, for providing feedback during the classes. And then on the right side in green you have some activities that you may, some initiatives you may take to overcome these barriers. I'm going very fast through this, directly jumping to the wrap up of this part of our discussion today. So here is a set of elementary practice for effective feedback that then I have synthesized in 4 that, from my point of view, are quite effective and important. Making feedback fun. Use creative approaches to bring your students into this reflection exercise, this feedback and reflection exercise, which is really critical for their development and for their learning achievements. Cooperate with the students, collaborate with them in this. Be open, create trust in the students. This is really important. Follow up. One of the key reasons for the students, or one of the main reasons that prevent students from providing effective and sound feedback, is for them to know what will we do with this. So it's very important that we follow up in this. If we had done this exercise that we just did on Menti in the last minute of the class, so in the next class we should come to the students and, okay, these are your feedback, these are your concerns, we are going to address this concern in this way, that concern in that way, and this way the students can see that what they are providing us is really instrumental for the development of a better learning experience. Another key point is to plan these feedback and reflection activities. They should be included in your class plan, and they should have time specifically oriented for this. It will probably require you to prepare some materials eventually, at least to prepare the Mentimeter if we use Menti, or to prepare a Google form. Well, it will require you some work, but it's a key gateway for improved learning and to make sure that your students get good results in the end. Here these 8 points are reviewed, let's say, in a more easy way to learn. You can see the problem on the right side and the way to go over it, a summary way of doing that on the left side. For instance, we have already discussed this because this was also presented by you as an obstacle. We should teach our students how to develop these feedback capabilities. We should make sure that we have a safe environment in the classroom. The students will not provide genuine feedback unless they feel they are in the safe environment, that they can say something that is not really correct, or expose their position, the way they see things, even if they know that there are colleagues that see it differently. And this is only possible if the students feel safe at the school, at the classroom, if they feel that they are in a group of people that are all there supporting each other to learn and to develop their own competencies. Making it relevant and impactful for the students. Clearly make it very clear for the students why they are giving feedback. Then follow up, explain the impact, what is this going to be used for that. Make sure to have the time and the resources that are required for the feedback, depending on the type of feedback and reflection that you are planning. And make sure that you can accommodate different points of view, different cultures, different individual ways of being and learning. This is important in all teaching activities, but very much important here in feedback, because some students might prefer to provide or more comfortable with a visual way of doing things, other with other types of learning channels and approaches. And this is also very relevant to make sure that they can provide feedback, having at their disposal all these possibilities. This is where the UDL, the Universal Design for Learning, comes into play. Okay, I'm going to introduce a few techniques that some of them we are using, some we are not, but again, I'm not going to take too much time on this, just refer to a few of them that I am particularly fond of. Um, First of all, the first point we have, the guided reflection prompt. So it's important that if you want to push feedback for the students, that you have some of these guided reflection prompt already pre-planned in your pocket. Of course, then depending on the way the class goes, on the way the students are reacting, you will probably change all them and you don't even use them, but you have a plan, you know exactly what you are searching for. So these questions are not only guiding and will be good points for the students to start discussion, but they will also guide our thought and they will make us focus on what we want to get from the students with this feedback, even if we do not really use them in the classroom, because during the class the flow went into some other direction and we found better ways to get what we want. It's also important, but this depends a lot more on the specific course you are teaching, but it's important to encourage students to have logbooks and portfolios where they can collect their assignments, the work they are doing. This will be also very good, and we can also use this on AI tools to give a path of the students' development. What were the lack they have and how they evolve and progress and develop these competencies and this knowledge. 3-to-1 reflection is very effective from my point of view. I use this a lot. So usually in the end of an important topic in the classroom or in the end of a class, I ask the students, I prepare a Google form and ask the students to write 3 things they have learned, 2 questions they still have, and 1 thing they found interesting or surprising in that class or in that topic. Then this is wrapped up to come with the highlights, and in the next class we know what to address to comply with these issues. We will do, if we have time, an exercise on this later today. So these are techniques that are mostly directed for individual feedback and reflection. There are techniques addressed for group feedback and reflection, like the ones you have here. What I am particular fond of are the last 2, the 6 Thinking Hats and the World Cafe. We did the World Cafe well, 2 months ago in November, or we did a very nice World Cafe with nearly 90 participants. So this is something that works good when we have big classrooms, something that was addressed a while ago. So we had 80 people, more than 80 people, and we were discussing the implementation of competence-based education in African countries. These people were coming from universities and from TVET schools in an African country, and we made this World Cafe, and the results were really incredible. And also here, AI techniques helped a lot, because we had 10 tables, 10 questions, and we had the groups doing 4 rounds. So each group was going for 4 questions. These were groups of 8-9 people. And we asked them to give their feedback in a Word file. So we got, in the end, 10 Word files, 1 from each one of the groups. And we end the World Cafe in the evening. The next day, the first thing in the morning was planned to be the feedback on the World Cafe, but in the meantime, we had a dinner of all the group, and so the time to prepare to discuss the findings of these 10 groups was very short, but with AI, it was done in 1 hour, less than 1 hour, to work that out and to have a good wrap up and a good debriefing to present to all the participants in the next day in the morning. Okay, now let's go into digital tools. Before going into generative AI, let me just mention some digital tools that you can use to facilitate feedback and reflection. Some of these are free, others are subject to a license. But I'm sure that you have already used a few of them or many of them. Mentimeter, we have just used it. Padlet, we have used this. So Padlet is a type of a blackboard that you have online and you can edit it online. Another good tool for when you have big classrooms and we want them to provide feedback, you can open the Padlet and give them the link so that everybody can go there and write what they want. It works fine for big classrooms. Other tools, Miro, it's also something similar for work group. It's also like a blackboard, a digital blackboard online for co-creation of discussion of mind maps, of diagrams, whatever. You can find more details on all these tools in this document. So this facilitation of feedback quick guide is a document that came out from the STEAMED Teacher Academy and that is available in our website, where you have more information on these tools and other tools. Okay, so let's focus now on GenAI, so on generative artificial intelligence for feedback and reflective practice. There are also many aspects that I would like to introduce. So again, I'm not going to be into much detail, just focusing what I think it's more important. So first of all, AI is something rather new, using AI in education, but it is really a very powerful companion we have. But it has to be seen in the proper way. So we have to see these tools as tools exactly, but they have the potential to change a bit the way we are teaching and the way our students are learning. So we should look at this not only as something that is replacing us in some tasks, but as a partner, an effective tool that we have there to support us in a way that we could not do before. One important aspect is that you can have very much immediate feedback, and that is personalized to the specific issues the students might have. One of the things, or one of the difficulties that we might face in education is that teachers are very busy with all the administrative tasks they have on top of the pedagogical tasks they have. And because of this, sometimes the feedback that we provide to the students is a feedback that reaches the students 1 week, a few days, 1 week, more than 1 week after they have developed the assignment. And this can be very critical because during this period, the students might have some misconceptions, they might have some wrong understandings that are crystallizing in their heads and that they are building their knowledge based on the wrong basis, because we did not manage to give them feedback on the right moment. AI tools can support us on this. So with these tools, the students can get immediate feedback on their assignments, and this can show or highlight those main breaches they might have. As a consequence of this, we can get more time as teachers to give students really effective activities and to support students in the higher level, let's say, tasks of pedagogy. So if we want, we can have the administrative tasks on one side and these pedagogical tasks on the other side. We have to do both of them. We have to do all of them. But AI tools can give us a break on these administrative tasks. Many of these administrative tasks, we can do them much faster using AI in the proper way. And this frees our time to dedicate more attention to the higher level pedagogical tasks, to make sure that we create activities for the students that promote equity and inclusion, to make sure that we can interpret and discuss with the students their learning process, the way they are thinking about the things, to help us creating this trust and a safe environment in the school, in inspiring our students to go one step further and question things that are not even supposed to be addressed in the classroom but are relevant, and we should push the students to open the eyes and go beyond the classroom walls. But all of this requires time. And this is time that probably we don't have that much time for this, because the administrative tasks are there and we have to comply with them. The tools, these type of tools that we are discussing, can help us in releasing some time for these tasks. So what was just mentioned, this feedback loop, so the students provide information or provide an assignment or provide some feedback, we can immediately act on this. So this feedback loop goes much shorter than it is today, and this has a very big impact because it prevents that the students build their knowledge on fake basis on one side, and on the other side, this feedback also, if properly used, and this is also something that we have to teach the students, we have to teach ourselves and we have to teach the students what is the proper way to use these tools, because these tools can identify breaches in the students' knowledge or in the student's solution for a given problem and provide guidelines, indications, scaffolds that guide the students' learning towards the objectives that we have. This is a way, and once the students understand this, they start using this on their own, because then they have a tool that they can use on their own at home, they can use in the school, but that they know that it can guide them to make more effective results. Let me go a little bit further. We have gathered here some highlights for the students and for the teachers to promote better feedback and reflection supporting these tools. For the students, what they can get personalized feedback oriented for a specific tasks and oriented for their own difficulties and their own needs. They can get these immediate feedback loops that accelerate all the learning process and avoid them to track the wrong way. They can provide the students questions, reflection prompts that push the students to take action and to think about the problems they are facing that they might not even know about. If you give us an assignment to the student, if the student solves the assignment and he gives the solution to these tools can tell them, okay, this is the assignment, this is your answer, you should take a look at this and take a look at that, please go here, go there. And this is the real power of these tools. Another important and more, let's say, high-level thing is that with this support, the students can start realizing how they learn, so they can improve their metacognition knowledge and they can know how to better learn in the future. What we can say to our students to make them really interested in this. This is a good supporting tool to make our students become active learners. Don't just be sitting in the classroom listening to the teacher, but be active learners, be the guiders of their own learning journey and take the initiative to move where they want to go. We have also some highlights for the teachers. I would summarize this as these tools can really amplify the capacity of us as teachers to provide feedback on the students on time and to make sure that this feedback is also aligned with each individual student way of learning. which is not really simple this way. These tools can be used for many things. I was attending a similar like this one a few weeks ago from a colleague from the University of Porto, and one of the things that he was doing was to he asked a few questions he had to create groups of students to do an assignment. Then he knows what he wants his groups to be. He knows if he wants the groups to have the heterogeneous students, so students that are very into themselves, others that want to express themselves all the time. They want what are the characteristics that you want these teams of groups to have so that the assignment can be successful. So he prepares a Google form, an online form, and asks 4 or 5 questions to the students addressing these characteristics that you want to see in each group. And then he asks GenAI, ChatGPT, whatever, Gemini, one of these tools. He asks, okay, I have these people, I have this answer to the question, I want groups with these characteristics, please create the groups for me. And then, of course, he goes over it and checks if that is according to what he's expecting, but this is making him gain a lot of time. If you have a big class, this can be really helpful. So this is a tool to amplify our capacity to make better teaching so that learning can be more effective. Of course, there is no beauty without, I don't know how to say this in English, but okay, there is always something that we have to be careful, and of course there are challenges and pitfalls when using AI. One of the things, and this is something that I personally have already observed, is the fact that because if the students use in the wrong way these tools, they use the tools to do the assignment. That's not the purpose. So it's not a task of the tool to do the assignment. A task of the tool is to criticize, to comment, and to give the students questions and reflection prompts so that they can improve what they have delivered. But because of these tools can also solve the challenges, we, at least I myself, face in the case that when we have many students that use the tool the wrong way, they give the assignment to the tool, they copy paste the solution, and they give the assignment. Of course, this will not work, and we try to push our students in the first classes of each semester to tell them how to use properly the tools, and we explicitly say this is not the way you can benefit from the tool, you are just cheating yourself, it will not work, because in the end you will be assessed and you cannot say anything about what you have delivered. So, but this is one risk, because the facility of these tools to create answers that might seem correct, although they might be wrong, but this facility, if you don't have a critical perspective on it, directs to student passivity, and that can be an issue. I'm going really to accelerate a little bit. So highlights, human oversight is always needed. You have to have balanced approaches between these technology tools and critical digital literacy knowledge and competencies. Of course, this requires ongoing teacher training and student training also. We have to be aware of biases and fairness, because if you have a student that has a super generative AI tool because he can afford it, this student might be in an advantage in comparison to another that is using only the free version. This is an issue. So there are ethical issues related to this. The bias is another issue. Most of these tools are trained based on documentation that is mostly written in English. So you might have two students giving you an assignment and you want to ask the tool to give you a first impression on these assignments. Are they good? Are they bad? What are they missing? Where are they good at? But it might happen that you have a very good assignment, but written by a student that does not master English. So the English is very poor, but the ideas there are very good. And you might have another assignment where the ideas are not that good, but the English of the student is very good. So he can write very good English. and because of the fact that the models that are being used by these tools are mostly trained on English documentation, they can give you a better indication on the paper that is on the assignment that is not that good from the technical point of view. So there are a few things that we should be aware of. Some hints to design assignments that are resistant to the AI tools. We should focus not on the output, but on the process. So make sure that you are very clear to your students and say, okay, use AI to do this assignment, but tell me what you have used, what prompts have you used, what have you rejected, how you evolved, and explain what was beneficial here, what was not beneficial there. This process is this that delivers and this that promotes the competencies in the students. The final product, okay, is needed, it's there, but it is the process that is important. Because of this passivity of the students, we now are using I told you just a while ago, I was teaching databases the former semester, and we ask our students, we give them a problem, we ask them to write code, to answer some questions, to model a database, but we tell them in the beginning of the class, okay, you have to deliver this product, but what is going to be assessed in the end is not the product that you are going to deliver, is the competencies that you have acquired while delivering this content. So we are going to ask, and your mark is going to be based on the questions, on your answers to the questions that we will make to justify the decisions you make in the paper. And this is a way to overcome this passivity of the students, let's say. So we need to give these information to the students and to the educators, learning and teaching people how to use AI from a critical point of view, so that we must develop this AI literacy. The tools are there, very powerful, but we must make sure that they are used the proper way. Here we have a set of guidelines for students, a set of guidelines for educators, a set of guidelines for the institutions. We can get back here to this if any one of you asks. Sorry to be rushing because I know I'm about to go over my time. Ethical and implementation guidelines, these are also really important. We have already discussed some of these, the bias, the fact that we see that biasing and ambiguity is always present when we do assessment of assignments of our students. It's natural, and it even the moods that we have even influences that. And if we give a mark to the same assignment today and 3 months from today, probably we'll give it different marks. Probably not very far from each other, but somehow different. So this bias is not eliminated when you use AI, but AI can, the fact is that the bias will not be provoked or caused by the same reasons that caused the bias in our own assessment. But there are other sources of bias that we must be aware of and must be careful with this. One thing that we can use tools for, which supports already the assessment, if you have written answers from questions, written assignment from several students, to avoid the halo effect, you can ask the AI tool to sort all these answers by similarity, so that when you start assessing, you assess them and you assess similar essays, similar answers, one after the other, and you are not jumping from one very good to one very bad, and then another medium one, and then another very good, another very bad, because this sudden swap is a source of this halo effect that makes you get into this ambitious and into this bias, because you have just assessed something that is very, very good. The next one is more or less, but as the previous was so good, we tend to assess to downgrade the mark for the next one if it is not that good. Okay, there are many other things. Let's move now very fast to the tools. So I'm sure you know all these tools. So these are general purpose tools that you can have online or that you can install in your own computer. Now recently these RAG solutions have just appeared. So RAG solutions are really powerful because this is a way of using the LLMs that are there available for everybody, but to fine-tune them to the content of your own course, of your own school. So we can have this installation in our school to feed it with your documents, what you are teaching the students, and then provide this as a tool to the students to guide their process, to support their learning, making sure that the tool is giving input to the students that is based on the documents, on the manuals, on the materials of your class, of those that you have delivered, those that are in the school, to avoid misalignment and to avoid having the students getting input that is not really relevant from the point of view of the school. Then there are other schools that are specifically oriented. So these are general purpose. These are specifically oriented for education, educational platforms, very powerful with lots of features. Some are free, others are paid. These are commercial products that your institution can acquire to support all the process with very nice features to support the students in this learning process or in the teaching process because of the teachers. So this RAG retrieval augmented generation, this is a technique I just mentioned. So this is a technique that uses these LLMs that ChatGPT and others use, but connects them to the documentation, to the manuals of your school, and this is really making a big difference, or can make a big difference. To conclude, I have just a few practicing examples. For each one of them, you have an exercise. We have here the tools that you need to use to do this exercise. We have a description of the exercise and what you can develop or learn from this. If you want, if we still have time, Carol, do we have 5 minutes more?
Yeah, I suppose we can take 5 more minutes.
Okay, so
no problem.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to try this exercise with you. So, but you have here more exercises, different exercises with different ways of using AI tools. Yeah, you can take a look at them. What I would like to do with you is this one. So the exercise is the following, something that we do in our classes as well. Usually we do this to have a diagnostic and assessment of the student. So we give the first class, we tell the tutor, okay, what you are going to learn in this course is this. We give them an holistic view of the course, the challenges they will have, and then in the end of the class we ask, okay, you have this form, go there and write what is the most challenging aspect you expect to see while running this course. And then we collect the answers of the students, use AI to group them and to give us an understanding of the general panorama in the classroom. So if you want to do this, we can go into this Google form, and this Google form is asking you what is the most challenging aspect you expect to face when using AI for feedback and reflection in the classroom. So what do you think will be challenging for you, given your own experience and your own knowledge, your own competencies? From all that we have discussed, what do you think will be the most challenging aspect if you want to use, or when you want to use this in your classroom? I'm going to this Google form. Okay, so we can add 3. Let's wait 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, we have one answer only, so I think I will move forward because it would be interesting to have more in order to make this work. Okay, anyway, so let's skip this. You can fill it in after if you have the time and if you are interested in this. And then if I get more answers, I will do the exercise and send you the response. Okay, here you have other types of exercises that you can do using AI. And if you experience this, even with your colleagues, I believe you can grasp a good idea of what is possible to do with these tools. I still add one more request to you to use the 3-to-1 reflection technique that we used a while ago. So please just go into this form and draft the 3 things that you have learned, the questions you still might have, and one thing you found interesting. And that's it from my side. I hope now that we might have some questions, some discussion, if we still have time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, actually. It was very interesting, very intense. I'm sure that there's a lot in here that our attendees today and probably other people that will have access to the recording will find very interesting for their teaching. So if there's any questions, you can just type them here in the chat. I suppose, no, there's no problem in sharing the presentation with
No,
everybody
absolutely.
here. So yeah, I will take care of that. I will have the presentation. And also that interesting STEAMy micro-credential that also teachers can apply for. I think it's very interesting also for our audience today. So if there are no questions so far, I see the Q&A section, nothing in here and nothing in the chat. So I guess that's all. Also, I suppose there's a way to reach you, Nuno, if they have any specific question. Maybe in the presentation you have an email or something that you can share with them.
Yeah, I have the email in the presentation that I will share with you, and then we'll share with the colleagues. So feel free to answer any question you might have, either regarding to the STEAM Academy and the certification process, or the resources that you have there, or this specific area that we are starting to work now. Feel free to contact me.
Thank you very much, Nuno. It was an amazing talk. And I know from firsthand because I saw your talk back in Athens. It's September, year. And yeah, I'm willing to go through all of them one by one and to learn a little bit more about how to use generative AI. I'm specifically interested in these RAG solutions, even though I'm a little bit scared that they use, data from the students, but I think it's very promising. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending today, and those that might see the chat later on. So thank
So
you, and have a nice evening, all of you.
thank you very much, Carol. Thank you very much to
you.
the participants. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I will email you the PowerPoint, okay, Carol?
Okay. Yeah.